Greetings. My name is Michael Miller. This is a Michael Miller trademark trading video out to you because you're watching. Thank you and welcome. It's meant for Michael Miller Pilates licensed affiliates, the Core New Core, and anyone interested in surviving and thriving as a Pilates instructor. I have 4 things on my list today of topics, and the first one is aim for the heart of the target. Aim for the heart of the target. Now, I don't know, that may seem obvious, but sometimes when you're aiming, you could clarify your aim in searching for the true heart of the target. Maybe this has to do with completely concentrating on the purpose of the exercise as you perform them, Joe's words. The clearer you understand and have a connection, a sensational feedback to your effort to perform the exercise, what am I trying to say? The clearer your aim, the easier it is to aim for the heart of the target. That's what I'm trying to say. The clearer you aim, or the clearer your view or your understanding, the easier it is to aim for the heart of the target. Okay? And so, from me to you to survive as a Pilates instructor, my message to you is to understand CT and MMP, and that in understanding those 2 things, it gives you such clarity about what you're aiming for and about who you are in the aimer, all of it. When you aim for the heart of the target. The language of Pilates. From within the point of view of MMP, Pilates is a language clearly expressed in Joe's book. And like any language, once you understand that it's a language and that there's a grammar to the language, the little bit of grammar can really help you make use of a very few number of words, right? Because you put them into a language. You express them as a language. And so within the MMP point of view, there's an obvious language, and to the extent that you understand the language, you can speak it independently on your own. Because what matters is your ability to speak the language, not how you learn to speak it or who taught you, right? It's the ability to solve the puzzle that matters, not how you arrived at that ability. Now, I'm sure, gosh, there's philosophical argument in that, a lot of places, right? But for the point that I was making, that's what I mean, and maybe not much beyond that. Number three, doing Pilates. Doing Pilates is a fundamental reaction to being human. Doing Pilates is a fundamental reaction to being human. You show up as a human being, so that's the limit of my interest in applying Pilates, is to the human form, although there's a lot of other views out there, applying it in a lot of different ways, but in MMP it's about the human body and the physics that it arrives in as a human body. So the biology arrives in a physical world that seems much more permanent than the human being that occupies it over the course of their lifetime. See? Beginning and an end. The biology arrives in the physics and seeks to engage itself, like make muscles happen, to facilitate movement through space, to survive, right? To procreate, to chase food, all of that, to move. You know, movement is life itself. And so the physics that the biology shows up in has an ideal character to it. As far as what we look out at, what we see, and here too, this is MMP, restricts its point of view to science, and that takes off a whole bunch of other views of Pilates that have nothing to do with science. Okay? But in MMP, it looks at Pilates as an ideal existing within the physical world. And Pilates being an engagement of the biology in response to the physics. It acknowledges gravity, it acknowledges planes, it acknowledges rotation, it acknowledges parallel planes or parallel lines. And yet that's just one point of view, and it has to do with why Pilates is what it is. And so Pilates is what it is because it's designed to be a conditioning program, something to do to get ready for whatever else comes up. And in that whatever else comes up really seems to place it fundamentally in that before anything else, as biology and the physics, acknowledging and recognizing and developing control, the name of Joe's method, within the bounds that you exist within. I'm talking about 3D space and gravity, whether you're on a planet or even out in space and weightless, their gravity field is still uniform. Which is why we're after uniform engagement. We're after developing the body uniformly, because that most matches the uniform field we're called upon to exist within. Gravity. Number 4, the secret ingredient. Of all the thousands of ways to look at Pilates, and major groups that are out there that say what Pilates is, and every individual that's out there that says what Pilates is, within MMP, what is the secret ingredient? So that refines it down to, within the point of view of MMP, what's the secret ingredient? Observing. Observing is the secret ingredient because your role, my role I'll speak, as a Pilates instructor is to give instructions. And those instructions are to perform movement. I'm getting lost. Perform movement with a goal. And within MMP, contrology can be a state of being in the body in the moment of the doing, and that is the target to achieve that state of being in the body in the moment of the doing. That is the complete coordination of three capacities of a human being. Their being, their thinking, and their observing. And in that regard, within MMP, observing is the magic ingredient. Because you acknowledge the existence of the capacity within the human being to do more than just be and think, but to also observe. And regardless of what observing is or where it comes from, the presence of observing within the MMP point of view is the third component of Joe's body, mind, and spirit. I wish you were here. I look forward to talking with him if I ever get the chance. Because within the point of view of MMP, there's an experience you're after. It's really good. It's very profound. And sometimes it only hangs out on the fringes of what else is being pursued as Pilates. Right? Within the MMP point of view, the heart of the target is the experience of completely coordinating your being, thinking, and observing. And so within my notes, it's like, okay, that all flows and makes sense. But then what about the observing? Why is that the secret ingredient? And I would answer that with the question of, what did Joe call his method? And if you've watched for a while and you know what you know, then maybe you'll know that Joe called his method contrology. And he wrote a book about that's titled Return to Life Through Contrology, right? And a definition that contrology is complete coordination of body, mind, and spirit. Right? This is all fundamental stuff of Joe's that takes you into a direct experience that within MMP is the target of the method. And to get that experience, you have to have the three things in Joe's definition that MMP interprets to be being, thinking, and observing. And the deliciousness of being an instructor is to use everything you know to accomplish everything you want ulteriorly, meaning whatever the issues and even whatever the client thinks they're doing, and whatever you're giving that the client wants, right? Within that, the structure is, the essence is, ideal in nature. And that the observing, what's the subject of the observing? Well, the process of observing, Joe talks about being fully concentrated on the purpose of the exercise, and in determining ultimately what the purpose of every exercise is, would be what? What did Joe call his method? Contrology. So I would say the target is control in a general sense of what is the target? Control. And what you're aiming for becomes the heart of the target, and the heart of the target is control. Okay? Life can't live forever. Read between the lines. See behind the curtain. Add two and two. Direct your thinking. Geist.